Hey y'all, this is AL Think Madame, and this is the recap review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. So I apologize for taking so long to do this recap review. There was way too much going on in life. The most recent thing, outside of the usual stuff with my family, is one of my coworkers. She's going all the way through it, and she came to me and just started talking, and I was just sitting there like, how are you at work? Like, I ain't no way I would be at work when you going through this. Like, I would not be able to get out of bed. I would not be taking a shower. I would not be changing clothes. Like, none of that. Like, that's how much she's going through. So, to make a long story short, her son was in a really terrible car accident. His girlfriend passed away as a result of the injuries that she suffered in that accident. He underwent a couple of surgeries, one of which happened today at a hospital an hour and a half away, one way. So she had to take a day today. She already took a day last week, but I didn't know that that's why she was off. That was because the accident actually happened, and don't know what's gonna be the outcome of all of that, because the girlfriend's mama and them, they might actually try to have him brought up on charges. I mean, because he was the one that was driving, and in the heat of the moment, even though they are very familiar with one another's family, you know how people are gonna want justice. So I mean, it's just so many things in the air. It's just so much stuff going on, y'all. I don't know what happened, but the method in which she actually uses an app to get money is not Cash App. So I had to figure out some stuff, and it wasn't recognizing my information. Y'all, I was just like, what in the world? Come on now. I got the money and I got this other stuff. So why is it not recognized? So it took me forever to even get that done. Then I sent her money and told her within the message, please eat, because I know she hasn't been sleeping. All she's been doing is being up, crying, and not sleeping. I definitely don't think she's been eating, but I told her use the money for gas, and food, or whatever else you need it for. So, but yeah, that's what's been going on. I was just so emotionally drained when I got home. I would try to just meditate and do like I normally do, especially when I'm thinking about my family and the things that a lot of my relatives are going through. That it was just like that piled on top of all of that too. It was just a whole lot. So I was just like, I can't. And I couldn't even finish the episode. I started watching the episode before she came to me and started telling me about this stuff. So then it just became a task for me. And I was just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not watching nothing. I'm not doing it. So I literally just watched the episode in its entirety today. So yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this recap review. So the episode starts out with Kimmy and Maurice going to some land that he wants to purchase. Either he wants to purchase it or he has purchased it. I forgot that part. But anyway, Kimmy is under the impression that this is a spot where they are going to build their first home from scratch, instead of it being in the area that Letitia wants them to be able to have it, and it's just family. Kind of like how back home it is with my family. It's okay. The way our setup is, it's my mama, daddy, brother, sister, all of them in that house. Then my aunt's house. Then another one of my aunt's houses. Now I have a cousin who built a house. The cousin that I told y'all about, I brought her up a few times. She actually has celebrity clients that she works on because she is a massage therapist. She has a house built on the land of another aunt, then another aunt, and then in a whole nother area, but it still is family land that taxes are being paid on. She and my uncle, they stay over there. So it's pretty much how Letitia envisioned that it was going to be for her, but Kimmy ain't here for that. But she is quickly learning that that's not what his vision is. This is some land that he wanted to have it squarely. Oh, we gonna build a house here. This is just an acre. If I'm gonna have something, it's gonna be more than an acre for us to live on. Like, this isn't enough for us. Because she really was throwing ideas out there. She was like, oh, because this area has more room, I envision the driveway. Like, she really thought that this was gonna be a nice area for them to have a house built on. But he is envisioning a house for someone else to live on, for somebody else to pay to live in. So she kind of feels some type of way because it's like she already can see where it's going to lead. Because in the past, whenever there have been projects and stuff like this that come up, that he gets these ideas for, especially if she doesn't have equal input, he'll get it started, get the ball rolling, and then it's all thrown into her lap. And she has already straight up told him, like, I don't want that to be the case because we already know that's what's happened before. I ain't here for it. We got to nip that in the bud right now. So that is something that they're going to have to be better about communicating, especially with these projects, because y'all are supposed to be doing this together. He is trying to make it seem like, oh, well, you try to do this from a realtor's standpoint and all this other stuff. He kind of really trying to sprinkle a little bit of stuff on there. And it's like, sir, Kimmy said what she said, and I can see how she sees it that way too. So it is what it is. So anyway, we see Martell over at his mama house, and so they talking, and he finds out that the kids have been over there, and that one of the kids or some of the kids were talking about the songs that their mama sings, and they're like, oh, and she said, oh, well, your mama just singing about your daddy. So he looking at her like, oh, that's making it even worse. So, I mean, the youngest ones, more than likely don't even know what's going on like that. I'm sure the oldest ones do, like Martell Jr. And I forgot what the oldest little girl's name is. But yeah. They probably understand full well what's going on, but the youngest ones don't. But I get it. But yeah, his mama, I don't know. I don't know where to go with that, because sometimes she act like she understand the assignment, as the young folk like to say. She act like she understand, but then other times it's like, because that's my child, let me set it off. And one of those examples happens within this episode, and I'm just like, ma'am, this is not the hill that you die on. It's just really not. Your son is wrong. It's two left shoes. Then you're not listening to logic, but again, we gonna get there, so don't worry about it. But yeah, anyway, he talking to his mama, and like one of the first things that he said that didn't sit well with me was him saying, oh, well, I didn't envision my life being like this, having to be somebody that learns how to do children's hair and all this other stuff, and that's what the woman's job is. And I was just like, boy, child, please. Listen, when my mama underwent several surgeries, my daddy was in there cooking, and he was in here tending to my head and my sister's head. You hear me? Didn't ask no question. My mama didn't have to tell him to do none of this. He did it on his own, and our hair was looking good. You wouldn't have been able to tell that my daddy was the one that did our hair. He did it so well. I even remember some of the times when he actually did my head, and I'm tender-headed, or I was a tender-headed child. So yeah, I hate when people try to make it seem like, oh, well, that's the role that the women are supposed to do. No, you do what you need to do. Get in where you fit in. It ain't necessarily got to be that. Okay, now if you get with somebody and that's what y'all have decided, that's what's gonna work for y'all, cool, do what you do, but don't make it seem like it's law when it's not. I ain't here for that. Stop. So, like I was telling y'all earlier, I have issues with some of the things his mama be saying. She be having moments where she seem like she understand the assignment. Other times she don't. She over here, and I feel like she is a big reason why. She's a big part of why Martell is the way he is. And I know y'all probably like, well, duh, his daddy wasn't really around. I get that, but I'm saying, like, you don't have to mimic and have the same mindset as other people who are around you like that. So he was talking about therapy. His mama was like, oh, I don't think you need therapy. You don't need that. What you mean? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So I was just like, child, here we go. I hate when people say that. I swear I can't stand it. I can't. But yeah, it's just a mess. And his mama is hyping him up. My thing is this: nobody is saying that he's a terrible father, but don't try to make it seem like with all the stuff popped off that it wasn't a problem. She over here talking about, yeah, I understand what happened, but, and I'm just like, ma'am, don't say this like it's just another day in the neighborhood and oops, I spilled some water on the floor. He was all up in a whole nother woman's guts for 5 years at least. And let me say this, at least one other woman, at least one woman, at least, that we know for a fact. So we're not going to make it seem like, oh, this is okay. It ain't even that deep. I don't understand why. That's hurtful. That is terrible. And he impregnated this heifer. Do you even know if this was the first time she got pregnant? For all you know, she's gotten pregnant before. All while he was married to Melody. So I hate when people try to make it seem like, oh, it ain't even that big of a deal. They doing the most. No, just stop. All the guys minus the newest husband were supposed to meet up at Scott Emporium and have a therapy session. Of course, Marceau was not there. He was conveniently just running. And so they looking like, okay, where are you? And he was like, not there. So they linked up with Dr. Francis because they wanted it to be an environment, and the way that they were going to have it set up was Marceau was going to sit next to Dr. Francis, and the other two guys, Martel and Maurice, were sitting next to each other. So it could be more of a casual conversation and not set up so professional. Of course he wasn't there, so he told us, oh, well, just let me know what he said, maybe he could pass on some good advice. You needed to be there. So anyway, the gist of what was said was, Maurice said again that he feels like when you are in positions of power like he is, because you have so much on you and you are chasing your dreams, you're an entrepreneur, you are high earning and all this other stuff. You have so much on your plate that you might be going through depression and stress and you don't even know it. So he ended up saying that when you get like that to where you feel like you are so overwhelmed and you don't have time for your own wife, you wanted to be married. You wanted to be an entrepreneur. At this point, you are married to 2 women. You have 2 wives. And so I'm glad that he said that, because that's the way that he's going to be able to understand how crucial this can be for you. Because if you going home to your wife and you sitting up there and you talking about everything in the world except how much you love your wife and actually spending quality time and not constantly having a work on your mind and you talking about work all day, every day, that's why you're stressed out. That's why you feel like it has to, the ends have to justify the means at this point. They have to, because some people be doing the most and they basically hustling backwards, in all honesty. That's just the gist of it. That's what a lot of people end up doing, and they swear they're doing something. I'm like, you've been at this for 15, 20, 30 years and it ain't working. I.e. these people who've been trying to be rappers their whole life and they trash, and people won't tell them they trash. I mean, that's just one of many examples. I'm just saying. Just one of many examples. These fake drug dealers that be out here making less than $500 a month, selling trash weed and all this other stuff. And it's like, and you wonder why? Oh, okay. But anyway, I'm just saying, a lot of these people be hustling backwards. So yeah, I'm just saying, the way that he came across, he just let them know you have to put your priorities. You got to get your priorities straight. And the conversation was still about Martell as well, because Dr. Francis was like, I'm well aware of your situation, but what's going on with you? So he was like, I'm in a rebuilding phase because he's no longer married. And last year was very tough for him because he took a major hit because of COVID. And so, he was telling him like it needed to be told. It is what it is. Do what you need to do. You need to focus. All of that. Y'all, I'm over here hurting myself. And I'm not trying to. But anyway, but yeah, I'm telling you, that was the day that Marceau needed to be there. Like, everybody is a Mar something, and I'm like, who am I talking about? But yeah, Marceau definitely needed to be there. All of that was for him. And at this point, since he didn't want to be there, shoot, somebody should have recorded the conversation because he definitely needed to hear it. He needed to hear it. So yeah, y'all, it's just the problem within this whole conversation is that Maurice feels as though, he needs to, since he's been working for forever and he's doing all of this stuff, it is supposed to be for himself and his family to make sure that they're straight and squared away. That's fine and dandy, but he almost never takes vacation. He never do these things, and he's stressed out. And it's like, you shouldn't be stressed to the max. Like, you have to make sure the ends justify the means. That's pretty much the gist of what was being said, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, they ended up having the Destiny race, and I like the concept, which was you put down what you want to achieve, you put it on a stake, and then you stick it into the ground, and then you run your marathon, you run your race, and then you make it back, then you pick it up and take it with you. Stuff that you're trying to manifest. Okay, so everybody came. Destiny actually ran. Everybody actually ran who was there on time. Martell, see, I'm telling y'all, it's this. Martell came late, and his mama didn't want to run, so he just came late to still show support. Well, like I said, Destiny ran, Letitia ran, Marceau ran. I think the other adults did not run, and they were just there for support. And if they did, I didn't see it. Tiffany and Melody took a shortcut, if you will, and they were the first ones to come through. So yeah, it was interesting to see that. So we see the moms. We see Wanda, we see Melody's mama, and then we see Martell's mama. I'll make sure I said the right name. So we saw all of them. So Martell's mama and Melody's mama were like, well, we used to get together a lot and, take the kids places. So we got to do that. So they were being cordial. I was like, okay, then yeah, I'm here for this. So Martell's mama was, about ready to go. Miss Wanda came over there. I was like, Lord, here she come, doing the most. Well, Martell's mama could see the handwriting on the wall, and she went on about her business because she was like, yeah, I ain't here for that. I am not here for this foolishness. Man, Wanda and Melody's mama started going back and forth. Melody's mama was like, I am not here for the ghetto foolishness. Told her to go ahead and dismiss herself and get from over here. And so she was like, well, I came over here to talk to Martell's mama. She was like, okay, but she been gone, so you could have left when she left. Like, I don't understand why you still here. It was so bad that the daughters had to come over there and figure out what was going on. And I was like, Lord, this is just, Wanda is just so, she is messy for no reason. It's like, why do you get caught up in this mess? And if somebody mollywop you, then you're going to be mad. Then when people put you in your place, you mad. So then, before that even happened, she rolled up in a conversation that ain't had, not her. Before all of that even happened, Martell's mama butted into a conversation that Destiny was having with Martell, and she wasn't even there. She just was sticking up for him, and it's like, ma'am, you were not there. Like, she wasn't even getting at him. She was not even being mean. She was telling him as a friend what he needed to do, because you will start a situation and try somebody and trigger somebody knowing that you are going to get the reaction out of that person. And so she was trying to simply say to him, look, you can't do that because we know how you get. Like, everybody knows how he get. His mama coming in there defending. I'm like, ma'am, this is what we not finna do. And Destiny kept trying to tell her, I'm having a conversation with your son. This was a one-on-one situation. This is from the conversation we just had the other day. You were not there. That heifer wasn't trying to hear nothing. I was like, ma'am, come on now. Come on now. Like, she did the most. I'm actually glad that Destiny didn't cuss her out. Because it's like, you doing the most, ma'am. You doing the most. And you were not a part of the conversation. But you are over here trying to protect your son when he don't need protecting. He needs to understand that there is a time to keep. Sometimes you just need to keep your mouth shut. Sometimes you need to just say, you know what? Let me hold my mule. Because I already know where this is going to go. He already be knowing. So, child, even next week, next week I know he going to tear my nerves up. But anyway, after all of the foolishness went down, child, I was just like, look, they did the absolute most. And it's crazy because the daughters had to come over there and like simmer it all down. It was so sad. But anyway, after it was all said and done, Marceau did a little announcement and thanked everybody for coming out and supporting and all that. He did a nice little speech. I was like, oh, okay then, that's good. I'm here for it. But yeah, y'all. The children were there and they ran, like they actually ran the race, and I was here for that. I was like, y'all better do that. And they looked like they were so happy to see their parents. Like, even Martell was like, you know, this is like old times when we used to all be together in one place, but because they're no longer married, it's not going to happen. So it's understandable. It is what it is. So anyway, moving right along, we're getting down to the end of the episode. And like I said, everything happened with Wanda and them. It was just trifling. Like, I was just like, child, this is just a little bit too much. Like, wanting to really be trying people. And she was like, you know, her own child had to say, you know, I'm going to have to just stop inviting her to events for a while. Girl, we done told you that for seasons. I don't know how many seasons we done told you about that, but you need to go somewhere and sit down. Now, the only thing that I really didn't agree with that Melody's mama said was when she called her ghetto. Now, okay, Bessemer is country. Letitia is right. I told y'all before, I have an ex who's from Bessemer, Alabama. He was in the Navy. So I have been all up and through Bessemer, and it is definitely country life. It is not ghetto. So yeah. But I understand what she was saying. Like, she was doing the most. Wanda was doing the most, so I get her saying that. But she need to calm down. These people know how to speak up for themselves, so I don't understand why she doing all this. Then, like, she can't, like, one of the main things that pissed Melody's mama off was that she basically went to social media and was talking about talking about Melody's mama was out here with a married man, I guess you could say. And it's like, nobody wants to take advice from you, ma'am, because you got a whole husband and a whole boyfriend. Ma'am, if you don't go somewhere and sit down, because you over here telling us, oh, I think they need to get back together. Ma'am, if you don't go somewhere and sit down, just stop. Please stop the foolishness. But anyway, that was the end of the foolishness. That was the end of the episode. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I was still not all the way here. And I'm about to go and wind down. Please subscribe to my channel if you've not done so. Thumbs up this video. I will see y'all later on for something else. Y'all be safe. Bye.